everyone, and welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann. For those of you who tune in regularly, we're really happy to be back with new episodes after a brief hiatus for the Memorial Day holiday and some personal reasons. For those of us who haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured things out. Maybe you happen to feel sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, or maybe you feel stuck and you want to get unstuck, whether that's in your life, your career, any other relationships you have. All of our guests have something in common with you. At some point, they felt similarly and decided to do something about it. Today's guest is no exception. Please join me in welcoming Domenique Nicole, wellness advocate, to our show. As a trusted wellness advocate, Domenique has helped numerous individuals cultivate self-love, self-worth, and resilience through her coaching and teachings. Her mission is to empower individuals to tap into their inner wisdom and live their lives to their fullest. And wow, does she have quite about Domenique on her website, which we're going to give to you a little bit later. She's originally from Philadelphia, and she's dedicated to helping people around the world find inner peace. With her expertise in mindfulness, self-love, and mind mastery, Domenique has become a trusted wellness advocate among her many followers. Her passion for helping others achieve a state of inner calm and self-love stems from her own personal journey, which we're going to hear more about. After years of stress and anxiety due to multiple heartbreaks, something that many of us can empathize with, she turned to mindfulness and self-love practices to help her find inner peace and balance in her life. And now she shares her knowledge and experience with others, inspiring them to live their best lives and embrace their true selves. Through her coaching and teachings, Domenique empowers her clients to cultivate a strong sense of self-love, self-worth, and self-compassion. She provides them with the tools and techniques to navigate life's challenges with grace and ease, including when you make mistakes like me, and my regular audience knows I own my mistakes, because that's how you learn. But she also seeks to develop a deeper connection with their inner worlds. Her mission in particular is to help others tap into their inner wisdom, strength, and resilience so they can live their lives to their fullest. And she does so through private and group coaching, virtual masterclasses, private and group guided meditations, community support, and more. And she's done a number of things, everything from leading the Abundance Meditation Challenge, which kicked off in April of 2020. But she's also gone on, she has a book, she has a website, DomeniqueNicole.com, as I mentioned that I was going, and you'll hear about it again. One that sounded very interesting and that I could have used at one point in my life, Sacred Womb Power, 21 Days of Learning the Language of Your Womb. I'm sure that would have been particularly helpful back when I was seeking to have a child, and more, even now, as a woman of a certain age. But suffice to say, I am so excited to have Domenique here. She faced traffic nightmares to get here all the way from Maryland. So without further ado, please give a round of applause in welcoming Domenique Nicole to our show. So here's your round of applause. Our audience is clapping for you at home.
Yay.
So thank you so much for joining us in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Who knew a tanker fire on I-95? For those of you who are not on the East Coast, it's the talk of the region. A major fire caused the collapse of a major artery for the entire eastern corridor. And so it has created traffic havoc for all. And Domenique braved that to be here with you, to share with you the secrets that helped her to find her joy, her peace, her mindfulness, and be able to work with others to transform theirs. But before you did all that, I don't imagine that little Domenique really thought that this was the path that you were going to pursue in life. So as we ask all of our guests on What the Why, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Well, at first I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting. I grew up in a hair salon, and I still just wanted to be a pediatrician. But then that transformed into me becoming a shampoo girl, working for my mother. And and looking at her, provide free therapy sessions to all of her clients, I think I just kind of gravitated, into that realm. And then life began to happen.
And a lot of us know that our hair salons are where we get a lot of our therapy.
That's where we dump all of our trash.
Although for me, admittedly, it's oftentimes my hairdresser, who's actually been on the show as well, who's brilliant. But yeah, there's a lot of mutual dumping there when we're together.
Yeah.
So how did you get from there to where you are now in your journey?
Yeah, so probably in 2015-ish, I went through a heartbreak, and which all women go through heartbreaks, right? And all men go through heartbreaks. Went through a heartbreak, and that was like my first blow, like to the heart. And then it happened again, maybe a year later, and I was like, okay, what is going on here? Like, what is this? And so once that happened, I was like, enough is enough. Like, something is wrong. This is not the lifestyle that I portrayed for myself or saw for myself. And I just called my girlfriend, and I was like, girl, like, I'm done with love. Like, I'm done with it. I'm over it, just completely over it. And she was like, no, just come to church with me. And I went to church with her, and it just so happened that they were going on a fast. And every part of my being was like, go, go, go. There was no hesitation, and I followed it. And I began to do some work on myself, and I started to unlock some other things about myself that I had no idea was going on. There was some chaos going on inside of me, and it was showing up in the rest of my, parts of my life. And eventually, I started to learn that it was me. I was the issue. I was the one that was bringing in, the relationships with people and in my love life. And so once I learned that, once I got like that spark of light, I was like, okay, it's me. So I'm going to work on myself. And I began to do that. And I'm like, if I needed this spark of light, how many other people need this spark of light? I didn't realize how much of my broken heart was causing so many other issues because I wasn't dealing with that. I was one that could shove things under the cover, and just keep going with life, just take the arrows and take the bullets. But at some point, you get fed up. So
absolutely.
That's why I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because you figured that out. I mean, as a certified coach, I'm sure you now do this, and we get paid money to help people figure this out. And you figured it out on your own. And what a lot of people don't realize is trauma is not something that happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside of you in response to an event.
Yes.
And so you figured it out, and you started on this journey.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, always a student,
but I figured something out, right?
Yeah, coach. Well, that's the other thing about coaches, right? We're always a student. We're always learning. We're always seeking. We don't pretend to know all of the answers.
Exactly.
And so how did you decide, okay, so you decide, I'm figuring things out as I go. I'm going to help others on this journey. What prompted you to start your own company?
Well, because I was always that person anyway, like I'm the one that the friends call or the family members call. So I'm like, okay, so I, not using them as guinea pigs, but as guinea pigs. And then I'm like, oh, my girlfriend who's also a coach, she's like, you just need to just do this. Like, this is your calling, and what I learned is anytime you go through pain, that's usually your calling. Like it's a lesson in there that you can extract and run with that. And I teach people that. I teach you to transcend your pain to power, you know, take advantage of it. And I said, well, as long as I can continue to help others, I'm still being a student, because when you're teaching, you're also teaching yourself. And so I said to keep myself in this routine and to not, because we start things, you know, we think we heal a part of ourselves, and we come to find out that no, it's a journey. Like it's a forever journey. So for me to continue on this ever journey, because we start things and we stop, and I need to help other people so that I can keep my momentum going here. And I started to learn that I had a gift. My parents would say, you know, like, you have the gift of gab, you know, you can talk. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a good listener too, and I'm able to pick up things. So I'm like, I need to do something that's not going to feel like work, you know, and that's really going to fulfill me. And in the beginning, the money, you know, it's not the greatest, but because I'm helping someone else to get to, you know, me being the bridge for someone to get to the other side, that really, really fulfills me. Like, money cannot buy that. So.
Now, there's a lot of people out there that are great listeners, but you overcame whatever fears of being an entrepreneur to move forward with your purpose and what you knew to be your mission. There's a lot of people who are watching this, part because they love our guests, but partly because they wish they could find that strength and that courage.
Sure.
So how did you find that strength to actually say, this is what I'm going to do with my life?
So I'm going to be honest, having a relationship with God really strengthened me on the inside, because you have so many people around you telling you what you should be doing, you know, what they see in you and all these things. And really, it's just something that they wanted to do that they didn't have the courage to do. But honestly, having a strong foundation in a relationship with God really empowered me. Reading the Word of God, just the words, and you can believe in Jesus if you want, if whatever, but the words. I don't know. There were scriptures about me rebuilding from the inside in the Bible, and it just aligned with what I was doing, you know. And when you start to feel the calling, it's just a feeling that you have. I can't explain it, but it's a feeling, whether you hear it, whether you smell it, see it, you have to follow that. And the longer that I didn't follow that or answer to that calling, my life was just in chaos, because I was answering to calls that were not for me, you know. But once you align with that calling, it's like, okay, yes, I can do this. Then you build the confidence, and then you don't care what other people think anymore, because if you know that God is rewarding you for your obedience, then it's like, we can't swear on the show, but it's like, you know, forget about the rest of the world. Who cares? Like, there are people assigned to you specifically that need your work and need your gifts. And so once I started to think about that, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Family and friends, you guys are always going to be there. But there are nations of people that need my gifts, you know. And so when I keep thinking about that, then that's what keeps me going. That's what gives me the strength.
So believe it or not, we're at the halfway mark already.
Wow.
So we're going to pause for a brief commercial break, and then we'll be back with more with our wellness advocate, Domenique Nicole.
Yay.
Welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann and today's very special guest, Domenique Nicole. And before the break, she was talking about how she overcame the fear of starting a business. And then you started a business.
Yes.
And you have done a number of things. I touched on a couple of them. And your offerings are rather unique. So one of the things I mentioned was the Abundance Meditation Challenge.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes. So during COVID, funny story, during COVID, my ex-boyfriend texted me.
Okay.
And he said, do you want to meditate with me? And I was like, okay, sure, why not? And Sidebar, I always teach to keep your heart open because you just never know who God is going to use and you never know how it's going to come. I literally needed that challenge in that moment because it was COVID and I was quarantined alone by myself, literally. Like, I had a neighbor, you know, but she's super busy. Anyway, long story short, he texted me and he said, "Do you want to meditate with me?" I said, "Sure." He added me to a group. He didn't tell me there were 20 others in the group. He just asked me and I said yes. And we meditated together for 21 days and it was on the subject of abundance. And one of the challenges were to start your own challenge, right? And so once I was complete his, I started my own. And I had no idea that people would take to it the way they did. I just was like, well, I'll just throw it out there to a couple of friends. Ended up hosting it twice during COVID. And then the second time there were more people and people were giving testimonies back. Okay. And I ended up receiving testimonies like a few years later, like, hey, I still have my journal from my challenge. Basically, it just takes you through shifting your paradigm, bringing you to a higher perspective in the midst of chaos, and understanding that we live an abundant life. It's not something that you have to do. There's nothing you have to transfer to receive. Abundance is already ours. And so it teaches you that, and we meditate on that, and we meditate on that thought, like everything is ours. There's nothing, it's not happening tomorrow, it's not going to happen, it's already done. And so we go through that for 21 days. I give them journal prompts every day, and it just takes about 15 minutes out of your day, morning or evening, whichever you prefer. And yeah, 15 minutes. That's all. And people think that you have to meditate for 20, you know, I was going to say 20 hours, but that's a bit much. I mean, some people do. But you don't have to meditate for an hour to get what you need. I mean, that's even better, you know, but 3 minutes in your car.
Yeah, as a coaching technique for positive intelligence, we do micro meditations throughout the day. And it's really interesting. And for those who aren't, maybe seem a little bit skeptical, there's a lot of science behind this. Meditating and imagining what your life could be actually affects your brain in the same way as doing it.
Yes.
Your brain learns and remembers it so that it's ready for when it happens.
Yep.
And so, you know, sometimes people go, "Oh, that's so
I know,
woo-woo."
it's like woo-woo,
I know, you know, as a coach, you know, we hear that term woo-woo, and it's like, no, this is like Harvard studied this.
Yes.
You know, people laugh when you say if you dream it or if you you can achieve it.
It's real stuff.
It is real, backed by someone playing a piano, and the brain images and imagining playing a piano. Same areas of the brain light up.
Yes.
And what's nice is you've actually added faith into it, which definitely appeals to a group of people, and we see that in the coaching community as well. And then you went on and you started a Facebook group.
Yes.
And so Lifeology,
Yes.
a high vibe community for fearless women.
Yes.
So how you started that in 2020 as well, as you did the Sacred Womb.
Yes.
So I'm curious about both of them.
Okay. So Lifeology came about, LIFE is an acronym for Love Yourself Fearlessly Every Day. Okay. And Lifeology, as we know, ology is the study of. So I wanted to study how to love yourself fearlessly every day. Now I'm still learning, right? But along the journey, the things that I'm learning, I share it with a private group of women. And within that group, I launched the Sacred Womb Power. I call it so many different names, but Sacred Womb Wellness Power, we launched that in the group. And that was a 21-day challenge for women wanting to connect with their wombs. At that time, you know, going through a breakup and healing and all of those things. I mean, you're intimate with your partner. And so I wanted to cleanse everything out. And so I started to study and, you know, learned from the greats. I mean, Queen Afua and all of the holistic teachers, just started to really engage and understand what the inside of my womb is is doing and looking like. I mean, we go to the GYN as women, but spiritually, how are we connected to that part of our body? That's where we create. That's where our intuition is. That's we make decisions from our womb. You know, so many things happen down there that we are not aware of.
Yes.
And and I also started that because a lot of my friends were dealing with cramps and menstrual issues and just.
And that's why I said there was a time in my life early on I could really have used that, and even because I obviously did my research on you, and realistically I think a lot of the lack of connection contributed to a very difficult early part of my pregnancy, and even the postpartum that came after. Because I felt very disconnected. And then different doctors would recommend different things over the years to deal with cramps and things like that. And about 2 years ago, I finally said enough. Just get this stuff out and just, I'll take my chance. Like, I'm going to go about this a different way. And so I personally am interested because I'm not doing, I'm of a certain age, but I'm not taking any meds for menopause or any of that.
It's not needed.
Yeah, because I'm trusting my body. I mean, once upon a time, there was nothing, right? And so this is really important for women who are having issues, whether they're younger or older, to explore, because there are alternatives to medication that really are not discussed. And I'm not here to be your doctor. Neither are you.
Me either.
But we're just here to tell you there are other options. So, and then you launched your book, Self-Love. Self-Love Handbook. Anna. So real briefly, because we're coming up on time, tell us about that book and how people can get it.
So the Self-Love Handbook is available at DomeniqueNicole.com. It's just a brief overview of what it looks like to start your self-love journey. It breaks down categories, it dispels myths about self-love and what it actually is. I don't talk about any self-care, I don't do the spa days or anything like that. My coaching it comes with a little bit of tough love, but it's very real. And the Self-Love Handbook is just an overview, like I said, of how to start your journey and just to grasp your understanding around it as a whole, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Just because when you're starting the journey, you don't really know, it's so much deeper than what it is, so it's just like your starting point, but there are other books to come after.
Awesome. And of course, we'll have to have you back when to talk about those as they come up. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And you've seen her name a couple of times. She spells Domenique slightly different. And so again, the best way for people to connect with you is?
DomeniqueNicole.com. You can subscribe on there. I'm also on Instagram at I am Domenique Nicole. And Facebook, I am Domenique Nicole.
All right. And they were kind enough to put your name back up there. So it's just Domenique Nicole altogether.com. And you can learn more about her there. So thank you again for joining us, for coming all this way and battling the traffic, but obviously you were meant to be here and share your journey on how you've been helping both yourself, girl, as well as others.
Thank you.
Now, regarding some of our upcoming guests, we're pleased to announce that we have several, including Chet Highsmith, artist and owner of Paint In with Chet, and LaQuanda McCollum, Worth Advocate, TV show host and founder of I Do To Me, and more. Please believe me when I say you really don't want to miss what any of our future guests have to say about their journeys. And if you missed any of our past guests and want to check out what they had to say, you can also catch all of season 1 as well as the current season on the What the Why page of RVN Television's website and Roku and other channels. You have so many viewing choices these days. So thank you very much for watching our show, and please tell a friend or colleague about us. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and Mondays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then within about 2 to 3 days of the initial airing, it's available on demand on RVNTelevision.com, Roku, I believe Amazon Fires, and a couple others coming to you soon. And also remember, whether you're looking to make changes in your life or career, or your relationships, no matter how big or small. Please tune in for more inspirational and informational guests such as Domenique, Nicole, who overcame whatever challenge or obstacles lay in their paths to find their core purpose in life and live it.